Hi, welcome back to the second in the database series of tutorials from the City of Glasgow College Essential Skills team. Today's tutorial is going to be focused on querying a database or selecting information, searching a database, various names. Once you open up your database file, you should be presented, in fact I'll open it up from scratch, I'll close this down and show you. If I double click on the database file, it opens up. And only in the navigation panel can I see table 1. The database table isn't opened on the main screen. If I double click on table 1, we can see this is a database, the state that I left it in at the end of the last tutorial. I also have the same database with the table populated. And it's this table I'm going to be using to show you how to query or search for information within a database. First thing about querying is they're created. So I need to use the Create tab at the top of the screen, and I'm going to create query from design. I'm not going to use the query wizard that kind of takes you by the hand through the creation of the query. I'm going to create it from scratch using the design screen. The first thing query design asks is, what table are you going to query? Well, we only have one table in this database, so I'll add that table and I'll close this window. This is the query design screen. Bottom left hand corner we have field, which I'm going to drop these field names into. Table, which will be the table the field came from. Sort, if I want to sort the output from the query, or the records that's found in any order. Show means I want to show the output from the query. And the criteria is the thing we're going to be searching on. To drop these field names into the field boxes at the bottom, we can drag and drop them, or you can double click, or I'll take these away. Now watch when I'm deleting these here. If I move to the top of this panel here, the mouse is down here, we see it changing to a black arrow. I can then select these and just press the delete key in the keyboard. If you've got a lot of fields, rather than adding them in one at a time, we can click on the first one, hold down the shift key on the keyboard and left click, and all of them are highlighted in orange. I've left everything go, I'm not pressing any keys or holding the mouse button. I can then just click and hold and drag anywhere in this orange area to the first field box. When I let it go, they all get put in. So that's a quick way shift selecting the fields and put them in the field boxes. The first query I'm going to do is on address 1. I'm going to pull out everyone from the table who has, address 2 has an address 2 of Glasgow, which is the town where they come from. So I'll close this table 1 down in the query. Now if I go along the fields to address 2 and then come down to where it says criteria, or you can start at criteria and just follow it along till you get to the field name you're looking for. And for address 2, I want to find everyone who comes from Glasgow. Once I've typed in my search criteria, up at the top left there's this red exclamation mark for run. I run the query, and you'll see here we have the 4 records of the people that come from Glasgow. Up at the top here it says query 1, and if I was to print this query, it would say query 1 at the top, which is not a very descriptive name. I'm always going on about descriptive names for things. So if you right click here and choose close, do you want to save changes to the design of query 1? Yes, it will now ask me to give it a name. From Glasgow. Now over on the left hand side you can see I've got tables, and I've got my table 1, which is the table of data that we created, and I've also got a new tab here saying queries, and I've got one query, it says from Glasgow. If I double click on that, I've got my 4 records from Glasgow. Now this query isn't just holding those 4 records that it found the first time. Every time I run this query, it's got a job to do. It looks at the table, it finds all the records, goes to address 2, finds all the ones from Glasgow, and grabs that information and presents it here in a small table. To prove that, I'll show you this working. I'm going to go back to my table. Yeah, we've got 4 people here from Glasgow. I'm going to change one of these records, this bottom one from here. I'll say this person is from Glasgow. There's now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Glasgow records in here. If I close the table again, and then run this query again, you'll now see that it's pulled the 5. So every time you run the query, it looks at the table to make sure the table's not been edited since the last time it was run. I'm going to show you how to use numerical queries. I'm going to create another query from design. Again, I'm going to add this table and I'm going to close this window. I'm going to shift click all my fields, drop them in to the field boxes, puts them all in. Right, let's say on the age, the criteria for age, let's find everyone who is greater than 30. So everyone over the age of 30 should appear when I run this query. The criteria underneath age greater than 30, run. And you can see the age of all these people is greater than 30. It searched the database, looked at that record, found the information and presented it. Again, when I close, and yes I want to save, I'll call this query age greater than 30, a meaningful name. One last thing I want to show, since this is a simple query creation tutorial, I would like to show you how to use wildcards. I'll go to, let me look at the table first in fact. Just want to see some of the names here. And okay, close that just a minute. So I'm going to create another query by design, same as the last time, add the table, close this window, shift click all the fields, drag them into the field boxes, and now this forename. A wildcard is an asterisk. Shift and the number 8 key will give you the asterisk. It looks like a little star and it stands for anything. If I was to do this, M asterisk, this is looking for anyone's forename who starts with the letter M, and then the asterisk denotes I don't care what's after the letter M, it could be anything. So if I run this, you see I've got two people whose forenames start with the letter M, Mary and Margaret. Yeah? If you get the output from a query that you're not happy with, rather than save it, quit it and start and create a new query, just go into the view panel and select design view, and it takes you back to the design stage of that query. And you can edit your query and run it, and edit your query and run it until you get the results that you're looking for. Let's say for example, I'll show you another wildcard. Address 1, let's say I wanted to find out all the people's addresses who had the word street in their address rather than avenue or boulevard or court or place. So star, yeah, street. So I don't care what's in front of it, as long as it has street at the end, then it should show me this address. Run. Look, all these address ones end in street because I've got a wildcard before, so it kind of cancels out that. The wildcard cancels out the first part. I don't care what's at the start because I've got a wildcard there, the asterisk, as long as it ended in street. Excuse me. And I'll save this, although it's kind of meaningless data. Save. Address as street and name. Query names that mean something. I think that's all I'm going to show you on queries for this simple database tutorial and query tutorial. There'll be a following on tutorial from this showing you how to create a report from a query or from a table after this one. I hope you got some good help from this, and I would like to say thanks and goodbye from the City of Glasgow College Essential Skills team.